Uh-oh.
It's not connecting.
Oh, it's not? There goes. We got him back.
Okay. Brajam, can you be able to click it that side to go live?
Who, me? I think
No.
it's already live. It's already live. We're already live for 55 seconds.
Yes. Hey.
Kind of witchcraft is this?
It's already. You're already live. You're already. It's already live. It's already live, brother. Neo, you there?
Yes, yes,
All
I'm
right,
here.
cool. Uh-oh.
I think we lost him again. Yeah, his network is bad.
Yeah, the network is bad on his side. Are you in the same area?
No, 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 no. I thought mine will be better than his.
Mm-hmm.
Because where I
But where
am,
are
yeah,
you
network is
in
not.
Azania as well, or where are you located?
I'm 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 in Eastern Cape.
Oh, Eastern Cape. Okay.
That yes, yeah, yeah. That's South Africa. Yes.
All right. Um, I mean, we'll
Yeah.
wait a little bit here and see if he comes back on, and then from there we'll move forward with the topic of today. Because I mean, irregardless, what happens is the show is recorded. Because like right now, it's 3 minutes into going into live, so we're recording, and then what happens is later on people can view whatever was said or not said, or they could join us now, or what have you. So the people that
Yeah.
have joined us, all I ask them is to try to, like on Facebook or even like on YouTube, and then to share the experience with others or the show, because the show is consistent. It's every Sunday at 3:30. So we got Brother King back on, and we're already 3 minutes in the show here. Can you hear us, King? Can you hear us? Neil, you can still hear me, right?
Yes, yes,
All
yes.
right. Um,
And then what about King?
right. He's there, but he can't. Something's up. Something is up. Yeah, man. Oh, here he comes. He's coming back. This happens a lot, which is really odd. It happens a lot. I mean, I'm on Zoom calls a lot here in the States, and even in Zoom calls over in Europe, in England, France, and I've never had any trouble. It's actually more. It's actually better.
Mm.
I'm noticing on the Zoom call.
Yeah, I think
What's that?
Zoom
I mean, I'm not sure if it's the platform.
Zoom is better.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the platform. I'm not sure if it's because of StreamYard or, but I do know that if he's not using, like, I have to use Firefox, I think it's called. I have to use that. Yeah, I have to use Firefox in order to run StreamYard. So I can't run it through Google because it will cut off like his is cutting off. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
yeah, so I can't use Google to run StreamYard. I have to use Firefox, which is a different app. Well, not a different app, but it's a different it's like Google, but it's different. I have to use that and it won't go off. If I use Google, it'll continually shut down if I'm using StreamYard. So I'm telling him right now to use
Okay.
that platform because that's the problem I had. The same problem he's having, I had. What time is it over on your side?
Half past 9.
Oh, okay. There's a 6 hour difference.
Yes.
Yeah, I had the same problem. Like I said, I had the same problem. And then somebody told me, "Oh, use Firefox," and then I've never had that problem. So I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
He's back, but let me see. Let's see. Yeah, so he keeps. Yeah, we'll wait one more time. We'll see if he gets back on. If not, we're gonna move forward with the discussion because I don't know. There should be more people joining us.
You think so? I think so. Because even now, I was just sharing the link. There are those who want the
Right.
link. So I think
Oh boy.
yes.
Yeah, I think a lot of times the
Not the live.
the network is definitely an issue. And on this side, I never even think about the network being an issue. Even in a storm, we don't have issues. Matter of fact, I remember we had a
Yeah.
hurricane hit Florida, and we still had internet. We didn't have electricity in the house, but we had internet, which was really
Hey,
it was
that's
like
good.
wow. So I was able to use my cell phone and other things. So it's pretty ironic.
Mm.
Yeah, he read my
Yeah,
message.
man.
Are
This site
you good?
is bad.
Are you using Firefox, King Fazan? Uh-oh. I don't know. Can you hear us?
It work. It's not to
Oh,
try.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Me.
I hear you.
So
I hear you. I hear you.
can you hear
Yes.
me? Yeah, but the network has been really bad. But thank those who are still streaming. There's nothing we can do. In as much as I would love to apologize, it's not my doing. Network is just messing us up. But then we're gonna continue with the show. The show is actually just like Brother Ajamu and Mr. Neil are going on with the conversation. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And with me, the topic of this show was a little bit confusing to me, but it's a topic that we must talk about it.
Uh-oh. Where'd he go?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
He's lost again.
That's unbelievable.
And it was now doing fine.
I'm just trying to figure out.
I
Yes,
don't
go ahead.
know.
What were you going to say?
Uh, no, I was just maybe saying if we can a little bit tackle the topic, maybe both of us then here if he comes back again with any input on and
Yeah,
whatever
we definitely, yeah,
that it
we can
can
move forward.
just to
Yeah,
carry
we can
on
move forward. All right, so the topic,
is
obviously,
I'm looking here. It's already 12 minutes.
yeah. So the topic is the is poverty in Africa man-made. So in other words, the situation that the continent's in. There are numerous countries which their GDP is below a certain average, therefore making them uh, spots where poverty is rampant. And it's funny because it's not funny, but it's ironic because the continent has every mineral known to man and every resource that you could think of, yet the people themselves are poor, which really doesn't make sense when you analyze it and critically think about it. Uh, I actually found the definition of poverty or a definition of poverty, and it states that poverty is the state of not having enough material possessions or income for a person's basic needs. So the basic needs would be food, water, and shelter. All right, and poverty may include social, economic, and political elements. And then there are different types of poverty, as I was researching and checking out. You got absolute relative poverty, you got situational poverty, you got generational poverty, you got rural poverty, and you got urban poverty. And then, last but not least, there are 10 root causes of poverty. So, number one would be lack of good jobs, job growth. Number two would be lack of education. Number three would be warfare, conflict. Number four would be weather or climate change or some type of natural disaster. Number five would be social injustice. Um, Number 6 would be lack of food or water. Number 7 would be lack of infrastructure. Number 8 would be lack of government support. Number 9, lack of good health care. And then number 10 would be high costs. In other words, inflation. So there are like 10 things that I just did a random search, and I was able to find the definition as I just stated, and I was able to find the 10 root causes, the causes, because we're going to be giving solutions in this discussion, but the causes are supposedly those things that I mentioned. So it looks like to me a lot of those causes are under the control of the people that are running the country or are so-called leaders. So those 10 things would fall under um a leader can actually try to create good jobs or job growth, or the people in general, if they came together, they could do that. And then education is normally something you can nowadays you could be educated without actually, you can be self-educated, so to speak. And then now you have the worldwide internet, which can assist in that. Warfare and conflict also causes poverty because it's a breakdown of the infrastructure within the country or wherever it may be. And then people die, which is not good. So that whole warfare thing, you kind of see that or hear that coming about on the continent a lot. So you hear, people fighting against one another. They're fighting either war on different types of wars. You got wars on terrorism. You got wars on drugs. You got ethnic cleansing, all sorts of stuff. So the warfare would actually cause people to be in poverty. Weather, lack of ample rains or too much rain can cause some problems. But anyway, but a lot of this stuff, the social injustice, the lack of food or water, infrastructure, government support, good healthcare, and inflation, and I would say education and job growth, and even warfare, they're all like kind of tied in to government, it seems like. The only thing that Africans may not have a control over is the weather, because nobody controls the weather. Well, I used to think that, but yeah, nobody controls the weather. So anyway, those are the 10 things. I mean, I looked up because I did some research. I do that before every, show that we have, just to kind of give a perspective from an intellectual standpoint. But yeah, so what do you think, Neil, about the definition of poverty and then the 10 root causes? Now, those are not those are not the only causes. Those are just 10 that came up. So I just want to clarify that. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, yes. I understand. I understand, and they are very clear. They are clear, my leader. Um, I think another thing, maybe to add on that, I tried to write them here. So I saw many of them, they are under human control. So, which means we can say maybe two or three, which you mentioned about the weather, one that we cannot control. But now we need to consider, from looking back into the past up until now, whether are there changes or is the state still the same of being in poverty? because if we can maybe say we stick into one thing, which is maybe let's talk about weather. How long does a disaster happen? After how long, maybe, if you understand
Right.
what I'm saying? Yeah, you can see maybe it's once in a year, or after 2 years, or twice,
It's
or
like a rare event.
anytime. And looking at the support, also looking at the support, yes, looking at the support again of the systems that we have, let's say the government and other continents, other countries that we have within
Mm-hmm.
Africa. So that should not put us into the state of saying Africa is actually in poverty. Like I like what you mentioned here about the government, whether is the structure being able to assist where it can assist. But now, as you have said, that we have so many ever into the continent, but now they are not helping anyway. Like, people are not benefiting from them. It's only those who are in high classes that are
Mm-hmm.
benefiting. And now, that thing you have said, you mentioned about the minerals and everything, it cancels the whole thing of poverty. In other words, it's like me saying, where I live is full of diamonds, but now I'm in hunger.
Mm.
It doesn't make sense. Hence, I'm still again stating the fact that indeed it is a
Mm-hmm.
man-made.
Mm.
Yes, I think I got another comment from someone. They said, how about those people you have said here, that lack of food and water and other things that you have mentioned that cause poverty. And to my view, uh, I always say resources are there. Problem is the management.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of management leads to poverty.
Mm-hmm.
In everything, in everything, lack of management leads to poverty. Whether it is the structure to leadership, from leadership to people, if there is no management on the higher class, then people will follow the leaders who are not organized, or who don't know how to manage things.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's what makes Africa to be into a crisis.
All right. So you're saying,
I think I
mm-hmm. You're saying poor. You're
yes,
saying poor,
I know you can
poor management. I guess poor leadership skills uh, is causing Africa to be in poverty and so forth. But when those leaders get into power, isn't the country already in poverty?
um
You know what I'm saying? Like you inherit, like, as a leader, like if someone becomes
um
president tomorrow, or whatever title they want to give themselves for being the leader of that particular country, or that area, they're already in a bad situation because they're walking into a position of leadership that is already strained, if you will. There's already a problem because the country's already in debt, whether it's in debt or whether it's in poverty. It's already in a bad situation. So you walking into it, and then you want to, well, some people I would assume want to fix it, but it just seems like, you're already walking into a bad situation, and then you're told, or I should say, you may want to
The,
fix it, but how do you fix that? Like, how do you? But anyway, go ahead.
the problem with our leadership, they want to fix the fruits, not the roots. The fruits actually are the results, but the results are caused by what? The roots. So you cannot try to change the fruits, and then the roots are the same. Still, next day you're going to produce the same fruits. Up until you deal with the real issue, the cause, then you will be able to deal with the result. I want to make another example on so-called leadership. You see, an example of here in South Africa. What happens to many leaders? You see that when they take power, they take into power. They are already hungry themselves, and mind you that you cannot lead people on an empty stomach. Now you end up eating on what you're supposed to give. Hence they say, when you give a poor man a position, they don't fix the situation that, or the task that you are giving them. What they do, they try first to fill the gap of being poor.
Right. So which is.
So to such a person, there is no enough. Yes, you can continue.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I see what you're saying. So basically, what you're saying is people are trying to patch up this hole that they call poverty or hunger, if you will, and then they're trying to patch that up, but then it becomes impossible to really patch it up because it's a consistent thing that keeps emerging over time. However, my thing is when is it going to end? When are people going to be fed up with the situation that they're in and say, you know what, we got to try something new, we got to try something different, we got to try to look at.
Up and
Go ahead.
up until we deal with the roots. For an example, we are fighting the case of the land. We know that man is rich by owning or having a land, a piece of land, because that's an asset. And by looking at the systems that have been introduced into our continent, economically, spiritually, healthcare, and things like there are many things that are introduced, and as we follow them, little by little, we end up being poor from being rich. For an example, I was following this thing of a calendar and so-called holidays. Almost it happens to us as Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Now, by looking at those things, for example, we have December, which is the 25th, and then we have things like Easter and all these celebrations. And when you look at the purpose or the concept behind them, you will see that it only these guys trying to take money from us. In other words, the money that we don't know how to use it, they say you must spend it, but on these special occasions.
Mm-hmm.
You can see Africans or people on December on the 25th telling you about the celebration of Jesus Christ. They spend almost
Mm-hmm.
everything.
You're talking about over in
And
where you're at.
in January there will be
Talking about where you at. Where you're at.
in
There,
sorry.
where you're at. What you're saying is those so-called festivals or so-called celebrations. You're saying on the continent, people are spending their last or their hard-earned money in trying to celebrate something that I suppose is taking their money when they can reinvest it in doing something else with it. That's what you're saying. Well, yeah, I mean, I
Yes,
agree with
yes.
you. I mean, I'm on this side, and I don't do none of them holidays. So I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate New Year's. I don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day, St. Valentine's Day. I don't celebrate Memorial Day, which is coming up. I don't celebrate 4th of July. I don't celebrate Labor Day. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, whatever. I don't celebrate none of that. None of it. Because what happens is my money is being used to celebrate this stuff and it ain't got nothing to do with Africa. For me, there's nothing African about none of those days. Nothing. Not one iota. Not one thing. Not one thing. So if I spend my money on that stuff, I'm a fool because now I'm wasting this hard-earned money into these festivals that don't have nothing to do with my history or my culture or even trying to propagate that history and culture. So what I've done is I went ahead and decided to celebrate my own holidays. I make up my own day in which I'm going to show some reverence to, somebody or to something that is dealing with my particular culture and so forth. So let me give an example. Like January the 1st, a lot of people think that's New Year's Day. Well, I flipped it. I already know January 1st is not New Year's. It's Haitian Liberation Day. So I celebrate the fact that Haiti was the first black or the first African republic that was established in the Western Hemisphere. And they did that on January the 1st, 1803. So I celebrate that. I don't celebrate no New Year's. It can't be a new year in the middle of the winter. That makes no sense. I would assume the new year would be in the springtime, but that has nothing to do with me. I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what's going on. All right, December 25th. No, I don't do that. I don't know what that is. I know that's the winter solstice. I get it, but I don't do that. Okay, I don't do that. And then some people will say, well, it's religious and this and that. I don't get into none of that because, as you know, religion is a big separator of our people. It separates us for some reason. You got some people, they think that they're whatever. They're Christian or they're Muslim or they're Hebrew or they're whatever. All these different divisions, and everybody's like, I got the best. I'm number one. And if you come to me, I'm going to have a problem with you and this and that. And then it's like, whoa. That's too much division over something that is a belief system. And we're all suffering and we all in a form of poverty. We all need food and shelter, but we don't have a common goal, a common aim. So I try to stay away from all of that stuff. Easter, I don't know what that is. I don't deal with that. And some people, oh my gosh, you don't do Easter. No, it's not. What? No, here in the United States, it's a rabbit. Some rabbit laying eggs. A rabbit does not lay eggs in nature. It does not do that. All right, and then some people will say, well, it commemorates, the death of Jesus and all this stuff. And then you got another group of people, they're like, well, it's Passover. And then every year they change the date. So when is it? Or what is it? So no one can give that answer. It's basically reinforcing European, it's the spring solstice, and it's reinforcing European culture and so forth. So I don't get involved in none of those holidays. You made a good point.
Now,
Go ahead.
Now, do you see now we get into the roots. Now we are dealing with the roots now, not the results. Because as we explained, in other words, we now having knowledge, and that knowledge is the one that will help us to make a good decision. And number two is education system. Education system. You look at. I always have questions like, what is our culture of education or fashion who teaches? And what do they teach? What are the references of this knowledge based on? How can it be preserved and passed on to generations? That's our culture as Africans. We teach something that we know that is practical, that we know it will also affect the next generation. And when you go back to the history and look at the education system that we had, it is totally different from what we have, because they were to teach you the principles or anything that got to do with life, what you're going to do in the community, what you're going to do in the next and in the next years to come. For an example, our people are staying at home with degrees now. You find many people who don't have a job, and when you ask them, they will tell you, I have a qualification of this and that and that. I'm a doctor by profession. I am this by profession. I'm that. And then they don't have jobs. They don't have work. Now, the so-called intelligent people, they told them that education is the key, but now they tell them which door. You can't hold a key that you don't know which door is going to open. At the end of the day, if I teach you about the key, I don't show you the door, you will end up holding the key for the rest of your life.
Good point.
And then look at people who got the key. Look at the people who got keys. They are almost more than people who are employed. And still again, the system is still pushing. If you can look at the numbers, I'm not saying people should stop learning or going to school, but I'm saying the system, what we are taught, what we are taught there, is it helping? Is it improving something in content? What are we benefiting? Because I was so surprised. I was in Durban I used to be there. I lived there almost my life. There was a Chinese who said, I was asking if the child, which grade was he at school, and he said no, he never went to school, but he owns a business.
Wow,
and
that's
I'm
possible.
I'm like, as Africans, what we can do, we rather spend $500,000 paying school fees to a child that is going to stay home for 3 years, rather than starting a business. After that, when they have failed, that's why they even commit suicide. Why are they killing themselves? It's because the system is saying into them, if you fail this, you have failed life. Now, these are some of the things that I'm saying. As Africans, we need to deal with them and see why are we taking so many years trying to learn something. They will teach you about this and that and that. At the end of the day, yes, it's good to have knowledge, but the problem is, do I know myself? Do I know my abilities? Do I know my gift? Do I know my calling? What is it that I need to give to the world? Because if you don't know yourself, even the world cannot know you.
Good point.
Because for the world to know you is for you to introduce yourself for who you are. So now that's number 2 of education system. You know, there is one of the guy I used to listen to his motivations. Miles Monroe. He once said to one of his videos, if ever people who want to lead people, who want to be leaders, could just go to and learn subjects that are in favor with leadership. In other words, in management as a whole. Because that's what we are lacking. Even people who earn less, someone might say, but there are people who earn less, who don't have enough, maybe who have 300 rand a month, and those people are suffering. And all I can say is that you have 300 rand, manage that. That's a seed. That's a seed. Money is a seed. But if you don't have a land, then where are you going to put that money?
Right.
You will spend it. Yes, I think you can carry on there.
What was that?
I was saying you can.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So no, I was listening to you. It was kind of difficult at times because you were making some good points, but then the network was going in and out and so forth. It's not your fault. It's not my fault, but it's somebody's fault. Somebody's responsible for that network. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to put no names, but somebody responsible for it. Anyway, yeah, so I was listening to you. You made some very good points. You made some very good analogies. I think you're the first person that I've ever heard from the continent that actually made, some statements about these ridiculous holidays that Africans should not even be a part of, in my opinion, at all. Okay. And, if you're going to, uh, do certain things on the continent, you might as well think ahead and see how much money you can make from that particular item or that particular event or situation. Um, I was told when I was younger, and I used to hear this all the time, that money is the root of evil. And now that I'm a big man, I'm an adult, I'm a grown man, I'm married, I have kids, I realize it's not the money that's evil, because the money don't do nothing. It just sits there. It's a medium. It's a medium of exchange. It doesn't talk. It doesn't walk. It doesn't have to use the restroom. It doesn't go to it's just there. It's the person behind it that is actually the problem. All right. So whether I spend the money or I don't spend the money, then that's on me. That's not the money that's actually doing that, because it doesn't have it doesn't have a life of its own. I will say is that all the points you made were valid. But the person who has money has to use it in a way to promote some form of business or some form of security, if you will, to try to get people out of the situation that they may be in. So I'm a big advocate of, coming up with new ways to create new industries that would benefit people who are in so-called poverty, because poverty, in my opinion, is something that is made. Somebody made it up, or somebody actually causes that to come into existence. But also, too, poverty is a state of mind. So if you think you're poor, then you always will be poor. And I think you alluded to that. You mentioned that in some of what you just stated, which is so true. If I think that I'm the smartest person in the world, just because I have a degree, it doesn't mean that I'm the smartest person in the world, because I have to actually implement those things that I have learned and so forth. So it's funny, because your mind can actually cause you to be poor, if that makes sense. And now, of course, there's other outside influences that causes a person to be poor. However, once you understand the outside influences, once you understand what may be happening, which causes you to be quote unquote poor or in poverty, then I think you're able to get around those things, or at least know that they're there, to try to come up with another plan to beat those things that are keeping you in poverty or keeping you quote unquote poor. So I know me, for instance, I don't think of myself as poor. I always think of myself as trying to obtain more wealth. So I never like, oh, I'm poor. Oh, I'm in a bad situation. I don't have any money, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that to myself. I say to myself, I got money, I got wealth, but how am I going to get more so I can get people out of their situation? Because that's my big thing. I'm trying to get people out of where they're at. I don't want them to be there. I want them to have the correct education, not some watered down version of education. I want them to go to bed and have a full stomach. I want them to have a job. People, when people have jobs, have self-esteem goes up. They have a different outlook on life. They no longer in their minds feel that they're poor. They all of a sudden have this idea, okay, now, things are limitless. So there's no limit. Now, I've never been an advocate of being an employee. I've always been an advocate of entrepreneurship. So when I mean by a job, I'm talking about, you start your own business and then you go from there. So I've always been, advocating that, because you could be an employee and you're still in the same situation you was prior to being an employee. But when you become an entrepreneur, it's different. When you own your own business, it's a lot different. And many people have testified to that. Now, because we normally have the show for about an hour, and right now we're at the 50-minute mark, and we might go over the hour just a little bit. But I did look up some solutions to poverty. I did look it up, and some of the things that came up were these things. Some of the solutions, because I always like to give solutions versus, the causes. So there are 9. So number one, um, according to what I researched and I checked out. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, before you can get to solutions, there there's something here that I've made a research of, that
Go
I just
ahead.
want
Go
to
ahead.
share. Uh, when 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 you give a person who live in socialism countries 2 cows, they give one to a neighbor, and when you give someone who lives in a communism country, you give 2 cows again, the government will take both 2 cows and give them milk. And if you give someone who live in a state of
Mm-hmm.
fascism 2 cows, the government takes both and sell you milk. Now, I'm statement of leadership, how it works. And then we go to the state of narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
You give 2 cows, the government take both of them and kill you. In other words, they take your things and then they kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you go to capitalism, which is where we are now, you give them 2 cows, what they will sell one and then buy a maid, so that cows will multiply. We call that an economic growth. Then you sell you now selling the interest, which is the full interest,
Right.
which are others that will come after that too. Yes, and then you get profits from that.
Right.
And then also in modern capitalism, in modern capitalism, which is the one that is influencing us here in South Africa, you have 2 cows and then you will buy the cows for your neighbor, and then you hire them to come and work for you, and you pay them
Mhm.
peanuts, and then they die poor.
Right.
That's what happens when they come to our continent. They bought our resources and then hire us to dig our resources and give them, and they pay us little amount. Then we die poor. And then you come to American society. Now I come to your society. They say you have 2 cows, you sell one, and you have to make the other one to produce milk like the 4 cows.
Mm.
Now you see that they are making business to run fast.
Right.
Now, when you come to us as Africans, when you come to us as Africans, you give them 2 cows, they eat them both. After they eat the cows, they will go to churches and pray and fast, wanting a miracle for cows to be
What?
there. They can't be there because you have ate them.
What?
That's what they do. They
You saying that?
they expect miracles to happen.
Oh. So you're saying they'll eat the cow and then what? And then what? Pray and junk for another cow to come about?
Yes, like how can you pray for something you have eaten already?
Well, yeah, that doesn't. I mean, I
There'll
don't
be
know. I mean,
someone.
man, brother, like that sound kind of that sound kind of
There's
backward. That's some backward thinking there, man. That don't even. I can't even register that in my mind right now. Like that's some backward thinking. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not no disrespect to anybody.
it's
I'm just
something
like,
that is
what? Like
happening.
that doesn't make sense. Like if I was there, which I'm soon gonna be in Azania, I would tell those people in their face, what are you talking about? Like, what do you what? No, what? No, that doesn't make sense. You already ate it. Like what? What? No. You could breed cows. You could you
Say,
breed them, but you don't sit there and I don't know, do some stuff, and then the cow all of a sudden drops out the sky or whatever, whatever it may be. You got to breed them. You got to breed the cow. The cow got to be alone with a male cow and the female cow. You know what I'm saying? You got to set the place up. You know what I'm saying? And then they go in there and they
yes.
do what they got to do, and then that's how you get more cows. But you don't eat the cow and then not do that and then expect more cows. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
It's like
wow. I'm sorry, brother. That blew my mind right there. Like,
it's like
I'm,
it's like converting a factory and making it a church, and then you come and pray for
no,
jobs
man, you already had the
there.
jobs. I see what you're saying because the actual warehouse was the jobs. If you used it right, you wouldn't don't need to pray to a certain extent
Yes,
because you were already given the house. You was already given the warehouse. So the warehouse would have produced jobs and money if you used it correctly. But you didn't. You put a band in there and everybody's sitting up in there and nobody's making money, and then you wondering why you still in poverty. So I see where you're going with that, man. I wow. I couldn't. I don't know, man. I mean, there's stuff that happens on this side that doesn't make sense either. However, that took it to another level. What you talking about? Like I would never even think about taking a warehouse and making it into something that would not generate money. That doesn't make sense to me. because we don't have a lot of money on this side, as collectively as a group. The Africans here in the United States, we do make money, we do have jobs and so forth, but we don't really own anything of real wealth. So anytime I see an opportunity to make real wealth, I jump on it. I don't sit around and wait for something to come about. I make it happen, not only for myself, but for the people. You got to do it. You got to have some action. So I agree. Wow, that's some wild stuff, man. Brother? I can't see you. Oh, there you are. There you are.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. All right. So we sitting at
I think
yeah. We're at an hour right now.
Yeah, you can
Yeah, we're at an hour right now. I'm gonna go ahead and try to end this because of a lot of it's because of the connections. We got some bad connections. Normally we talk for maybe 2 hours, sometimes an hour and a half, but I'm gonna try to cut it short. But I will say this is that we're working. TLAD is definitely working on getting a higher connection. So when we come back next week, we'll have a better connection, hopefully established. So that way our viewers will be able to understand or listen to the conversation. All right. And once again, that's out of our hands. Even on my side, sometimes the network does go bad, even in the United States. So it's one of those things when you're dealing with technology. All right. I do want to continue this topic next week. I do want to do that. I do want to offer that like next Sunday. Because man, this brother Neo, man, he dropping knowledge. So definitely we gotta reconvene and definitely continue this talk, because what I'm noticing is it's twofold. It seems like there's a problem with leadership, but deeper than that, it's a problem with mentality. Who takes a warehouse and then convert it into a place of worship and then sit there and pray for jobs? You already had it. It was already in front. It's right around you. Your job is actually right around you. It's all around you. Like, I don't get that. And then furthermore, and I'm not poking fun at nobody, because I respect everyone's beliefs and so forth. But when it starts to become a problem where you're not thinking on a level that's going to benefit large masses of people, now I got a problem with that. Because now the stuff is out of hand. Okay. So whoever has a warehouse as a place of worship, please stop doing that. Turn it into a place to give people jobs and to produce wealth. Please do that. That you will actually, you will get, I guess, more blessings, quote unquote, than anything, because you're providing employment, you're providing wealth to a group of people that may not have a lot of that. All right. So some of the, I think I'm going to go over the solutions next Sunday. I'll be going over that next Sunday. Next time we have TLAD. I'll go over. I won't go over them right now. We'll recap next week and so forth. But yeah, I agree with you. That doesn't make any sense. I think a lot of it is mental. I think also too, one way you could one thing that I don't see a lot on the continent is you're allowed to trade with people. You're allowed to trade. You don't need money to trade with someone. So let me give you an example. If I have If I'm making sweet potatoes or I grow sweet potatoes and the next person grows another crop, we're allowed to exchange those crops. I'm allowed to give you sweet potatoes and then you can give me whatever you're growing as an even exchange. We don't need money to do that. All right. That's called bartering. It's called bartering. A lot of people tend to not use that word because it's like an ancient type of thing, but it works if the person has no actual money. You can barter and everybody can walk away with something of value and actually feed themselves and so forth. Now, I definitely don't look down on anyone anywhere on the planet. I tend to look down on people who are not critically thinking. So if you're not a critical thinker, regardless of what social status you're at, I got a problem with you. I got a problem with that. Okay, I got a problem with that. Not with you personally, but as a collectively, because we're some of the greatest thinkers on the planet. African people are some of the greatest thinkers on the planet. If we could just change our mindset, we could really, really take off as a group. I'm talking about worldwide. We're the ones that come up with innovative ideas. We're the ones that create things out of thin air. Yet we've been hijacked somehow in our mindset. And then we actually think we're poor when in fact we're not. So it seems to me it's mental, along with leaders that tend to want to benefit on having a lot of money, or they think that's what you do as a leader. Supposed to have all. But I read about a leader in Malawi. There was a leader in Malawi, a female, and she sold the presidential plane, and she sold off the vehicles that supposedly belong to that particular office in her country. And I just wanted to say that to me, that's what you need to do. You don't need no plane. All right, you can get on any other plane. You don't have to get on your personal plane. Get on any plane. Like me, if I want to go to Azania right now or South Africa, I just get on a plane. It's not my plane, but I just get on a plane. But there's no difference. I'm still going because I'm on a plane. So I don't know why some people need personal plane versus.
You know what they say?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
They say if you want things to be done, tell a woman.
Good point. Good point. And I'm starting to see these new women leaders in Africa.
Be said 10. So they are good in action, while men are good in talking. I was asking one of my guys that what do we understand as a global context and financial tangles of African resources? Like, why are we saying we are going to look for greener pastures in other countries while the Europeans are coming to Africa to look for greener pastures?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean,
that also, it doesn't make sense. Hence we saying,
I mean, it's almost like when I see brothers coming to this, when I see brothers from Africa and they come to the United States, I tend to shake my head because they don't understand that they're walking into a burning house. Like, they don't realize that the house is burning down and your behind is walking into it. Like you're getting off and you don't even realize it. You think you're in this place, and yes, there's opportunity here. Don't get me wrong. There's opportunity. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things here. However, you're kind of like, you're better off this remaining where you're at and building up from there versus coming over and then building up and then trying to go back. You know, I'm just saying that. I know that's easy for me to say, and harder to be done, I guess. But I mean, I've lived here all my life, and I've done everything the society tells me to do, as far as, doing certain things. I have a business, I have a nonprofit, and there's still challenges even in those arenas. There's some challenges, and a lot of it is unfair, and a lot of it is a lot of people just don't know. They think that everything is the green pasture, which I still haven't seen a green pasture yet. But it is a place that has opportunity. However, I would suggest that Africa is the source of the green pasture. Quote unquote, it is the diamond in the rough, so to speak. It is the jewel that everyone's looking for, or it has something that other places don't have. So it would make sense, like I don't know, but here it's difficult. I haven't been to the continent yet, so I can't really speak entirely by experience. But this will happen very soon here, where I do make a trip over, and then I'll be able to speak from experience. But this side is not what people think. It really isn't. Yeah, it's not what people think. Okay.
Hence, always the reason is greener over that side is because someone who is standing there is making possible this green. There is greener pasture there. So why can't you do the same way you are saying?
Exactly. I think that where you're at,
So
on the continent, is definitely that's where it's going to be at in the next 100 years. That is going to be the place of extreme movement, as far as technology, as far as medicine, science, finance, will be the continent, because everybody's trying to get the resources from the continent, and a lot of people, if you think critically and you look at it, you're like, oh, wait a minute, everybody trying to go over there, and they're trying to put their footprint on the continent. And that's where Africans need to bond together, unify themselves, and say, wait a minute, you want to come and be on this land, we're going to rent it out to you. You got to pay us to be on the land. You got to pay us to do certain things here. And a lot of times we don't do that. We sell the land. We sell it. Like, why would you do that? That makes no sense.
I think it can be bad. I don't know, but since he's not online, that maybe if we can say we're going to do the solutions as the whole thing, whereby we look at into each and every solution, and then we deal with it in how we can.
You mean,
so
as far as poverty is
everyone who's
concerned?
gonna be watching will have something that is practical that they that they can start doing and doing a program.
Okay. So what I'll do is, for the
if ever we cannot reach the upstairs.
What I'll do for the show next week is I'll give you a list of possible solutions that have been mandated by, I guess, certain sources. And then you can do your research. I could do mine. King Fazin can do his, and then we come together and discuss it, because that's how important the show is like, we're going to do the work for everyone, and then we're going to share that work with them. And so after the show, I'll be able to send that to you, brother, because I have you, I have communication with you through Facebook and so forth. and I'll send you the list, and then you can add to the list or take away from it. It's up to you. But we definitely need to be giving out solutions. All right, because that's what this program is about. It's about solutions, and also too, it's about change, positive change. That's what TLAD. Yeah,
Yes.
positive change. We have to work together. We may not get along, with everybody and so forth. I don't even get along with my own family, but I love them, and we still try to move forward. You see, so I'm telling you guys, I don't get along with my own family, and that's just natural. There's people in my family I don't get along with, but I still love them. I still talk to them. I still respect them. So why couldn't that type of mindset? Why can't that be continent wide? Why can't that be for the whole continent? Okay, I don't care what brother Neo believes or whatever. He's a brother. I got to work with him. We got to work together. For his, I got to work. I'm obligated to work with him, so his family can succeed, and vice versa. He has to work with me, so my family succeeds. But we working together. I don't know why there's a problem with that. And by the way, this jealousy issue, this jealousy between people doesn't make any sense. Like, if everybody works together, everybody is going to actually benefit. And then I don't know why some people are jealous because of other people's success or so forth. Like, I'm happy to see another brother be successful. As long as he's reaching back, trying to help another brother or sister, and that was in the same situation. I don't have a problem with people being successful. Okay, that doesn't bother me. I don't have envy or jealousy over that. I'm trying to figure out, what did they do so I could do it, and collectively do it as a whole. And I think we got to start thinking. We got to change this mindset.
I, I think especially us black people or Africans, we are so full of hatred and jealousy, and this thing is corrupting our minds, because we are not going anywhere. There's a guy who used to tell a story about two baskets that were full of grapes. So he said he was carrying two bags of grapes, and then the other one, it was a white grape, and then the other one, it was black grapes. So, as he was walking along, the one with black, he covered it with the lid on top, and then the one with the color white, it was not covered. So, and then the other gentleman asked him why the other one is not covered and the other one is covered. He said, no, the one that is not covered is because the one that the one that is white, actually it was covered, and the one that it was black, it was not covered. And then he says, these ones that are covered, the reason is because if one get out, the basket will be empty within a second. But these ones that are not covered, when the other one try to come out, the other one will pull it down. And when the other one try to go out escaping, the other will pull it down. So they will do that thing up until to his destination. Actually, they will pull each other up until
they'll never get out.
That's what
I know
do.
And I think that's part of the problem.
So we always
that's the part of the problem of poverty. Of that's one of the issues is you can't bring each other down when you're trying to establish wealth. That makes no sense. Okay, so I'm still trying to. It's a phenomenon. I'm still
Yes.
trying to figure it out. It happens here in the United States too a lot. Somebody will see another black person doing well, and they'll either ridicule them verbally or they'll ridicule them physically. And to me, that's a crime. That's a crime. To me, that's a crime, even though that's not a crime
Yes.
on the law books.
Yeah.
But in my mind, that's a crime because you can't do that to your own people. And a lot of people just don't have that mentality. So therefore, they're continually tearing each other down, which makes no sense to me. I mean, it makes no sense wherever we at on the planet. Yeah, so now I'm trying to change that mindset, and it's very difficult. And some people, they even want to fight me sometimes physically. They want to hit me or hurt me, and I'm looking at them like, really? Like the people you should be fighting, you don't lift a hand up to them at all, but you're fighting me, and I'm trying to unite you and I. I'm trying to work with you, and sometimes they don't even see it until the it's too late. And then they realize, oh, wait a minute, you actually was trying to help me. And I'm like, yeah. So I don't know why you was trying to hurt me. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help both of us out so we can move forward. And then after that, it's like, oh, I apologize. And I was like, but the damage is already done. Like, I don't even know. I mean, I trust you. I trust you to a certain extent, but I know in the back of my mind, you tried to not allow us to unify as two human beings to move forward to gain wealth. So the next time I got an opportunity, I may not go to you because I know that's what you tried to do from the get-go. And it's no disrespect. It is what it is. So sometimes I always tell brothers and sisters that when you're trying to unite our people, you got to have unconditional love. You got to have the love of a mother, because a mother has unconditional love for their children, and you would have to have unconditional love for your people. If this unity is going to work, if it's going to work, you got to have unconditional love, because a lot of our brothers and sisters are just they're they're brainwashed. They're brainwashed. They're completely brainwashed. And when you try to bring them out of that metaphoric hole, when you try to bring them out of the hole, they're attacking you. Get away from me. Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. Blah, blah, blah. But if you knew what you was doing, then there would be no one trying to help you, because you would already be out and you would be trying to help someone else out. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. It's difficult, and it's very disturbing sometimes. But a lot of this very interesting conversation here, because man, it's like, I mean, there are outside forces keeping us in some form of poverty, but it's only a certain percentage. The bigger percentage of what's keeping us down is ourselves. It's not the outside force, because we make up the majority of the people on the planet. Anywhere you go, I was in the military, and I only did 8 years. I got out, but that's besides the point. I went around the world, and everywhere I went, I saw black people. I mean, I saw black people, like African people. I'm like, dang, we're everywhere. Everywhere I went. And I mean, I went around the world 3 times. So I could name all the places I went, and there were black people there. There was actually but everywhere I went, they was the same. They were pretty much the same. There was some negative aspects about them, and then there were some positive aspects about them. And that's when I realized, okay, I have to change the mindset. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, brother.
I think even also to give the view to give the viewers an opportunity, maybe to state some of the fruits that they are seeing into their lives, and then now we must next week come with the method how to tactics on how to do things
Yes,
well.
I agree with you.
Because the problem is in the mindset.
Yes.
Problem is
Yeah, what we'll do is
in the mindset.
we're
So
gonna
we also have to engage and
yeah, we'll definitely I agree with you, brother. I good. Yeah, that I'm sorry. That's good. That's yeah, I agree with you. We're gonna definitely reconvene next Sunday. We're gonna come up with these solutions. We're gonna talk about it. I definitely I like that. I like that idea, brother. I'm gonna be reaching out to you during the week because I enjoyed our conversation so much. Like you're definitely a progressive thinker, and I love
thank you.
talking to people like that because I can't be talking to no stump, no tree stump. You know what I'm saying? Or nobody that's willing to have the courage to unite. And it seems like you have the courage to unite. You want to unite. You want better for everybody, which I agree with you, man. I want the same thing. And I applaud that and I commend you for that. And you are the future of the continent. You are the future. And yeah, definitely we're gonna definitely you know talk more and everything. Definitely. So you definitely got a friend on this side. Um, I don't. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I can help as much as I can because I know this side, and then I'm learning more about that side. So there's a benefit to knowing both sides of the spectrum here.
Yes,
Yeah, man. So, we'll go ahead and we'll end the show. But like you said, I want to honor what you said. Next week we gonna come up with these solutions. I will send you the list. You do your research, I do mine. King does his, and then we'll reconvene, and then we'll go. We'll do another show. We'll do part two, or whatever. Whatever. Yeah, we'll continue it.
sir.
All right. So, good evening or good night, I guess, on that side. It's afternoon this side. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my day here, and we'll talk. We'll talk. It was good. Good to meet you, brother.
All right.
Yes, have a good one.
No problem. Good to meet you. No problem.
Thank
Good to
you.
meet you too,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
so much.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.